Hello, and welcome to your meditation practice as part of the Open Heart Project, and you're very welcome to. My name is Susan Piver, and I have a cat, and I'm also completely delighted to give you meditation instruction. Today we're going to sit together for 10 minutes, and we're going to start soon, so please take your seat and get settled, whether you're on a cushion on the floor like I am, you'll have to take my word for that, or if you're in a chair, which is fine. And if you are in a chair, please sit with your feet flat on the floor. Excuse me. And today, before we sit, I want to very briefly offer you a Buddhist teaching, something called the Four Immeasurables. And if you are part of the daily Dharma gathering, which happens every evening at 8 o'clock, and anyone can join, I'll say more about this topic at that time this evening on Monday. And the Four Immeasurables are something that I like to remember myself, especially at those times when I feel hopeless. Or like, who are these people who are doing such violence in the world? And how have things gotten so crazy? And how have I myself become so crazy that I have forgotten who I really am? And, in my case, I'm among the most fortunate people on earth. For me, the bad news is, not that my survival is threatened particularly, but that I get really busy and I just forget about being creative or being kind or being spiritual, or even though I'm a Buddhist teacher, it still happens that I just get caught up in the minutia of every day, and there's something about that minutia that actually ends up leaving me feeling depressed and sad, because I've forgotten how wonderful life can be. The Four Immeasurables remind me, and I offer them to you in exactly this spirit, that they might also remind you today or at any time that you feel, what the hell goes on this planet. These are qualities that were said by the Buddha himself to be possessed by all beings, including cat butts, in immeasurable quantity. Hence they are the Four Immeasurables. I'm going to keep going with this, my friends. I hope you come back someday. I possess them in immeasurable quantity. You possess them. Your family, your friends, every single person you will see today or ever in your life possesses these four qualities. All the insane, crazy people doing extraordinarily violent, heinous things in the world, they possess these qualities, even though it can seem impossible to believe. But I'm going to tell you what they are briefly, and then we'll practice, because the way to really know that you possess these qualities is through the practice of meditation, through the practice of relaxing your mind and not learning that you have these qualities or developing these qualities, but by recalling that you have them, because you somewhere inside yourself already know everything I'm about to say to you and more. The first of the Four Immeasurables is called loving kindness, and it simply points to our ability to feel open, just simply open to others. If we were not open, if we did not possess this loving kindness, this softness, this tenderness naturally in our hearts, the events of this world would not disturb us. When people are unkind to us, it would not hurt. When we met someone who was very special, we would not fall in love with them. It's this quality of tenderness and vulnerability that I would equate with loving kindness, and we each possess it immeasurably. And it can feel dangerous and sad to think, well, I am unendingly vulnerable, but this unending vulnerability equals unending creativity, unending capacity to love, and unending capacity to be a genius, to be creative, to see things that nobody else can see. So it's good. The second immeasurable is called compassion. And compassion doesn't necessarily mean feeling sad. It certainly doesn't mean feeling sorry for anyone. It means when someone else feels pain, you feel it too, in your own heart. Because there's some part of each of us that knows that we are not separate. So when you hurt, I hurt. In the words of the great blues poet Jimmy Reed, when things go wrong with you, it hurts me too. And that's a natural, spontaneous capacity that we all have in immeasurable quantity. The third immeasurable quality is called sympathetic joy, mudita in Sanskrit. Compassion is translated as karuna, and loving kindness as metta or maitri. And sympathetic joy is really a curious and delightful of the part of the Four Immeasurables, because we all understand, oh, it's good to be compassionate, it's good to feel the suffering of others. Yeah, I should really try to do that. And we can do that, usually. Sympathetic joy means you feel other people's joy as your own. So if compassion is feeling your pain in my own heart as my pain, sympathetic joy means I feel your happiness in my heart as my own happiness. And in our very competitive and poverty-stricken world, no matter how rich or poor we are, it seems we all feel that there's only so much goodies to go around, and if someone else gets them, it means I don't get to have them. Guilty of this myself. But sympathetic joy means that is so not true, and that anyone's happiness has the capacity to put joy in my own heart. And that's a cool one. Well, they're all cool. The fourth immeasurable is called equanimity. I think it's upekkha in Sanskrit. And it's a little bit different. It doesn't seem to have the heart quality that love and compassion and sympathetic joy have. Equanimity has a sort of coolness to it. And I think of it as the ability to return to balance, to remember the big picture, to recall to yourself your own path, your own genius, your own intentions, and to return to a state of rest. And when we rest, we find, to our surprise perhaps, that the first three immeasurables are already there in immeasurable quantity. And all we have to do actually is find equanimity or relax. Just relax. That's the most profound spiritual instruction that you or I will ever hear. Relax. And how do we do this relaxing? Well, we're fixing to do it right now, my friends. It's called the practice of meditation. So here we go. So begin, please, by relaxing your body. And you can do that by settling right here, wherever right here is for you. There is nowhere else to be, actually. Even if you tried, you could only be right here. So fall into right here. Give up wanting to be there, or wanting to be there, or remembering that you're going to have to go there, and just be here. That's deeply relaxing. Or kind of relaxing, let's say. Feel your sit bones sort of pushing down into the cushion or chair. And if your knees are resting on the ground, or your feet are because you're in a chair, feel the earth coming up to support you. So your knees and your feet or your feet can rest lightly. You don't have to grip anything. The earth is not going to throw you off. And let your belly relax a huge amount. Feel the quality of warmth in your heart. It's there, whether it's teeny tiny or like a giant disco ball, rotating and refracting warm light. And feel that sense of warmth deep in the heart center. Whether it's big or small, it radiates. And you don't have to try. The radiance is natural. The chin is tucked a little bit or parallel with the ground. And that's just to avoid any repetitive strain of sitting too much like this or too much like this. And the mouth is closed. And I invite you to experience the delight, the joy, the bliss even of not having to say anything, just being quiet. I really like that personally. Let the silence fill your throat. And emanate down and meet the radiance of your heart. So silence and warmth, stillness and love mix. Breath comes in and out through the nose, and the eyes remain open and soft. And cast down to a spot about 6 feet in front, or 1.5 meters. And we don't have to hide, so we can keep our eyes open. There's nothing to hide from. We can be exactly who we are right here. We don't have to go anywhere. Feel yourself breathing. And let your attention rest on the breath. My favorite analogy is like a sweet hammock between two beautiful trees, warm air. Your breath is the hammock, and it sways gently, and you place your mind in the hammock. And that means placing your attention on the breath. Puts the mind in the hammock, and let the breath carry your attention. Swaying in on the inhale, and gently swaying out on the exhale. And just let your bright, beautiful, brilliant mind rest in this sweet hammock of breath. It will continue to think things, even in the hammock. Hey. Am I doing this right? Maybe I should be doing something else. Just let the wind do its job and let it sway your mind. And if you find that you have gotten absorbed in your thoughts rather than your breath, no problem. You're still right here in the hammock. So just let go of your thought. Return to your breath. And I promise you, the rest will take care of itself. Thank you so much for your practice. It means so much to me to practice together. So thank you.